Okay, we are live. Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father first Saturday stream. Good to have everybody. Got Miss Martin and John Trent. Good to see you guys.
Hello. Oh. The sound and the silence.
Uh-oh. So how's Miss Martin while John tries to figure out what's going on?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm in the sunny Florida right now in my little
nice.
in my little cubby. So it's been nice to get away. It's been a crazy few months, but that's why we need this escapism. We need our faith, and we also need our entertainment.
Well, I know I'm trying to enjoy the last few days because school starts up here on the 16th.
Oh dear.
So I'm excited to be going back. It's gonna be my first time in the classroom in about 5 years, but it'll be fun teaching freshmen, teaching scripture. So
okay, I was wondering what grade you were teaching. So high school.
So
okay.
We got a question already. So yesterday I did not do my Friday stream because I had a Catholic Social Services golf tournament. It wasn't too bad. The only problem was it was about in the hundreds with the heat index.
Ooh.
That part sucks. I'm in the Midwest and it's about 90 degrees with the heat index right now. We're going to have a very hot day.
Yeah. Well,
so
I only do miniature golf, so I can't quite relate to but I know people that love to golf. They love to golf. It's really relaxing and
yeah, it's fun. And the thing I told my kids, I learned after my first year, I named golf balls after the extra special ones. The ones that I want to think of on my day off.
Oh, no.
And the best part is one of my kids that had a ball named after him is now ordained a priest.
Yeah. Well, there you
go. And he knows that karma is coming back to bite him because he's a good kid. I'm very proud of him. It was just one of those that he was bored in class because he already knew the stuff.
That too. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes the kids that give you the most trouble are the ones that I always say that kid's going to be a leader. That's going to be the kid who's going to be the conductor of the orchestra one day.
Well, the other thing too they've learned is I pick on the ones that I like. I pick on them. I give them a hard time. The ones that are kind of fun, I'll use them as examples and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always will
So
tell kids that if I didn't, because then they think they you don't like me. It's like if I didn't like you, I would ignore you.
well, I'll show you the one that I'll have to bring that
Yeah. But then
the
I
video
teach
up
little
again.
children, so it's a different dynamic, All my little children love me, so
Let's see. I'm just looking for the image I usually will show kids to show how demented I am.
oh my.
Oh, where is it? Okay, we could do that one. Or no, let's do this one. So there's a book I enjoy called The Bunny Suicides.
Oh no.
And it's basically just a book of bunnies.
Okay, yeah, this is not the kind of stuff you show to kindergarten, okay? No, no,
No,
no, no, no, no. This
no.
wouldn't work. No, no. Bunnies are our friends. This is terrible. Oh, those poor bunnies. Oh my gosh.
The
Oh,
one with
look
the
at the
DVD player.
DVD.
You got the bunny saying he's Sarah Connor.
Oh no. Oh gosh.
So, and this is probably my favorite one with the doctor running into the TARDIS with the bunny on top.
Oh, the poor bunny. Oh.
Yeah, so there I warned my kids on the first day I really am demented.
Oh my goodness, the poor bunny rabbits. Oh gosh, look. Oh, the cactus bunny, the
Yeah,
James Bond one. Oh no, that's terrible.
Well, you know what the bunny is doing.
Yes, I do.
It's the British way.
British middle finger, yes.
Yes. So
It's like, yeah, that's a one-way ticket to bunny rabbit heaven or hell.
well, let's see, I'll just show the other one
Oh my. You see, this is the priest everyone wanted to teach him scripture.
Well, the thing is, I realize kids aren't going to remember 3/4 of the stuff I'm doing. So when I taught church history, it's like the Gregorian reforms of the 12th century. It's like we'll cover it, but do I really expect the kids to remember what the Dictus Papae is, which is a set of papal reforms?
Yeah.
No.
Nah. Well, you can teach them with bunny rabbits.
Yeah. Are you back, John?
Yes.
Yay!
Can you hear me? I think I'm still running through the. I gotta figure out how to get you through my headphones though. Let me see if.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, he was just killing bunny rabbits.
It's working now. Yeah.
So
who's killing bunny rabbits?
Father Miller was showing. Well, not literally. Not literally. Okay, that's how rumors get started. Bunny rabbits. Oops. Oh yeah, here it is.
Well, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Is that like legit that intro?
No.
Is that a meme? So it seems
a meme.
Being memed, but like,
no, there is actually there is actually a promo like that. Is that what you're asking about the
right? That's like a real promo, right? That's been memed over.
Yeah,
right?
it was, but they tweaked it.
Yeah. Obviously, the oil of Olay part wasn't a part of it. But
yeah.
The fact that
I saw Quarter Black Garrett did the oil of Olay.
Yeah, but no, that's real. That is not a parody. What you're seeing right there.
They tweaked it a little bit.
Oh, that's so sad.
But the music fits. There it is.
Yeah. Days of Our Lives and Oil of Olay. Yeah.
Oh no, this is One Life. Or no, Young and the Restless.
Oh, Young and the Restless. What? They're all the same.
The Young and the Restless. This portion sponsored by Oil of Olay.
And the sad thing is, I remember that. I remember that. I mean, you're a kid of the 80s, you're sick, you're at home, and you have to watch that stuff. And I remember the announcer's voice.
Mm-hmm. It was a thing, but it works perfectly. It works out. All of the promos that have come out, I keep thinking at first that they're all parodies. Like the clip about Galadriel, like doing a flip off a sword or flying off a sword. She's like Peter Pan. I thought that was a parody.
See, the one I can't share on here.
That's Celine from Underworld killing Victor.
I can't show the one that George the Giant Slayer did.
Oh, I'm sure it's very.
What did George do?
Oh, he did something with a feminine product.
Oh well, no.
Oh, really?
If you've seen South Park, it's the one that sponsors Cartman when he does NASCAR.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, obvious. Yeah,
I'll have to look at it. Look for
that'd
it.
be pushing along a little too much for you.
Should I even watch it, or will I have to go to the confessional afterwards?
Well, that's where you get the angry emails from parents.
Oh, that part we don't do in class. Oh no.
Well, no. But I'm saying they're gonna find you, and they're gonna go. You gave my kid a C, but I saw what you did on YouTube.
No, actually, I did a lot of that my first year just because I was trying to figure out how to teach and how to fill a 45-minute period. But after you've done it a number of years, it gets a lot easier, and you know how to fill the time. So, CC Ria says, lingering on the faces is such a nice way to remind us, such a nice reminder to us that they are not Tolkien's character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tolkien. They keep saying, we're going back to the book. We're going back to the book, going back to the book.
Foot.
I'm like, you told us you don't have the book.
Yeah, they don't have they don't have the Silmarillion. They don't have the Unfinished Tales. Yeah, they don't have any of that stuff. All they have is the appendices and the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and that's it.
Yeah, so they have names. Yeah.
At least that's what they've told us. Like, who knows? I mean, these guys lie all the time, so who knows whether they're lying with that part or not.
This has been a fun week with Batgirl, the trans actor or the drag queen in Ironheart.
Ironheart. Yeah.
Supergirl being canceled, perhaps. The comics you were showing on Wednesday, I think it was, with the Batman comic with systemic racism.
Oh, I saw that.
We were talking.
Did you cover that one?
I don't think.
I saw that up around.
No, I don't think we covered that. There's a Harley Quinn comic going around.
That one. I know I saw that.
I saw that. I think we're going to try and cover that. We'll see. And then there's something else. We covered a Batman comic, I think, a couple weeks ago, where he's like, he's just like, oh, I'm just going to ignore the burning of the burning of Gotham and just go and see if I can find crime elsewhere.
Well, no, the one that I was thinking of is Detective Montoya, I think it is.
Okay, yeah. I think that came out this week. We haven't covered that yet, but we'll probably have an article up on that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully later this week.
Let's see.
Yeah, I saw some of that. I haven't fully looked at it though.
Yeah, so Gandalf identifies as White Wizard. The Andy Serkis narration of Lord of the Rings is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to all three of them.
Yeah, and he during the pandemic he did a live video thing where he read the whole Hobbit. And of course he does the voice because he is Gollum, and gosh, that man he was in the new Batman. I was watching some of that on the airplane coming over here, and it's like Gollum is Alfred.
Yeah,
that's right.
Please, that movie's terrible. That movie is terrible.
I couldn't get through the first 5 minutes. I ended up turning on Batman 89 after that.
Well, it's not even so like Batman is aside from like the Catwoman like lecturing part that everyone like talked about. My issue with it is he doesn't do it. He doesn't win. Like he doesn't get Riddler. The police get Riddler after he basically gives himself up after killing Falcone from a sniper position, and then he doesn't stop Riddler's plan to flood the city. The only thing he really does is he beats up a bunch of people in the beginning, and then at the end he goes and beats up these guys like dressed up as Riddler, trying to shoot everyone at the convention center. And that's all he does. He doesn't solve any of the crimes. He doesn't outwit Riddler. He doesn't beat him. He doesn't stop the city from getting flooded. He actually fails for the most part. And it's just, that Batman doesn't fail. He doesn't lose like that.
Well, is this because he's like this is kind of like first year Batman?
It's supposed to be. No, he's supposed to be second year Batman. There's like the whole scene is that the criminals are on edge because they don't know whether or not Batman's going to show up out of the shadows and beat them up. So he's already kind of built this like mystique around him, but then when he's actually brought in by the police to try and solve the Riddler like murdering all of these people, I mean, he clearly he fails at it. So I don't know. I didn't really like that at all, aside from the obvious like political stuff that was in there. But as far as like the Batman actually trying to be a hero, Batman actually being a hero and defeating like the main antagonist, he doesn't do it.
I actually didn't watch the end, so I didn't know that, but that's okay. I mean, spoiler, I was watching it on the airplane, and
I don't care.
No worry. I don't care either. But you know how it is, the little screen thing on the airplane, it was so small and it was so literally dark. It just got frustrating to me. So I said, okay, I need to be watching this somewhere else. So
the one movie I did watch on the airplane, and this was Going to Rome, and I love it, but it's not available in Blu-ray over here, is The Death of Stalin.
Oh.
That came out like in 2017. It has Steve Buscemi playing like Khrushchev. It's basically a very dark comedy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll look that up.
I guess either one of you have not heard of it?
No, not at all.
Okay, I gotta play the trailer. I mean, if I get struck, I get struck. But it's worth it.
Oh gosh.
Okay, here we go. I'm a Steve Buscemi fan.
I like Steve Buscemi.
Patty warning.
I propose we call a doctor.
All the best doctors are dead.
The comedy.
Who's alive and who isn't?
It's Comrade Stalin.
I'll take it from here.
We need to start putting together a plan.
How can you run and plot at the same time?
We should get Stalin's children.
What are you doing to my father, you jackals? How old are you?
I'm old.
You're not old! You're not even a person! You're a testicle!
Everything's gonna be fine.
What? It's not exactly fine, is it? My father's lying there with his head open.
Stalin would have wanted the committee as one.
All those in favor? Carried unanimously.
Rooshed, not rooshed.
Whatever.
Not rooshed. Rooshed? Would you stop with this? I want to make a speech at my father's funeral.
No problem.
Technically, yes, but practically.
When I said no problem, what I meant was no problem. Ignore me.
I'm smiling, but I'm very furious.
You're the good guy now? You locked up half the nation.
Yes, and now I'm releasing them. What are you doing?
I've been picking out funeral cushions with Slim Hitler over there.
Trust no one. Stalin will be nothing else.
Don't worry. Nobody's going to get killed. I promise you.
I've had nightmares that make more sense than this.
You will not take me down! I will not be silent!
Oh my. Why do the bad guys have all the good music? Because that Soviet music was awesome.
Well, I still think of the opening from The Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just watched that. I watched that the other day. It's on Netflix. I love that film. The music in that is awesome.
Before Alec Baldwin went nuts. Oh
yes.
Yeah.
We got Spencer in the chat.
Oh,
Yes.
hello. And what the Rocky 4 when they played the Soviet national anthem, I always like. Oh boy!
But that's one of those independent movies you can't really get over here very much. It's available in Europe on Blu-ray, but not over here.
Well,
It looks like it's an American production, though. It's got all those Hollywood actors in it.
Michael Palin.
did
It's
it?
a long time since I've seen him.
Who produced that?
Let us take a look.
Everybody Google.
Yep. Only we had a way to look things up. Okay.
Looks like an Italian director.
Yeah, Armando Anucci.
Hmm.
It was a comic book.
Oh, it was? Okay.
well,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see that now, yeah.
So good cast. I ended up watching that on the plane to Rome.
Hmm.
So
You were in Rome recently?
no. This way, but I would have done live streaming from Rome. I went over for my 10th anniversary back in 2018.
Oh, okay. I was like, you held out on it.
No, good heavens, no. I do have enough miles saved up to be able to go to Rome, but I want to go to London. I got to go over to see Ian since Ian came over here to see. I got getting to meet him over here.
Have you been to London before?
No, I've never been over. I've only been to Rome. That's the only place overseas.
Oh my gosh, because you got to go to St. Thomas More. There's all those martyrs, all those shrines to visit and places, and
I'm trying to see if I can find the picture.
say some serious prayers for us there.
Wow.
Say some masses. God have mercy on our souls.
Yes.
And you need to go to Ireland too.
Well, that's the problem. I want to go
Ireland
to.
is gorgeous.
I want to go to Normandy to see beachheads.
Okay, let's go on a tour. It's all in the same kind of area. Just take a few puddle jumpers over.
I want to go back to Rome.
Oh, okay, fine. Go to Rome.
I did 9 days over in Rome, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, they still going to let you do a private mass over there? I forgot. Weren't there some new rules?
Well, that's the thing. Supposedly, you're not allowed to say mass in the upper. Oh, there's one I'll show. This just shows how much I've dropped over the last few years. Let me bring that up. Hold on. You'll like this picture.
Oh, no.
That scene from Roman Holiday.
Yes.
No, I was trying to find the picture. I did get to say mass in the Clementine Chapel, which is the altar right below St. Peter's main altar. It's the one right by the bones of Peter.
Ooh, nice.
And supposedly the new regulations, if you want to say mass in the Vatican, you have to do it in the basement part, the underneath part. The main part of St. Peter's is only communal mass. Why? I do not know.
But, okay, help me out here, Father, because when I went there, the masses, the quote-unquote private masses that priests were saying along the side, they were communal. Like, there was people like...
Well, yes, it can be, but some are not. And this is something that came out like a year or two ago.
Oh, okay, because I never saw a priest just saying it just... Because all masses are communal. I don't get it. You know what I mean? Because technically...
Well, let me put the cynical hat on.
Okay.
Supposedly some of the powers that be, and I'm not saying the Pope. I am not saying the Pope is upset about this. But some of the powers that be in the Curia did not like the fact that the Latin Mass was being celebrated.
Oh, so it wasn't really about the communal. It was they wanted...
Well, I think there's some of that too. But, I mean...
But... Because they... in the Latin rite of the church, they don't like the Latin Mass. Go figure. We live in a clown world.
I probably have said it before. I did my MA thesis on the Roman canon because having been to the Old Mass, following along in the book, thinking the Eucharistic prayer is one of the most beautiful prayers I've seen. I did not know until I started my research that it was Eucharistic Prayer 1.
Oh.
I was never taught that. I mean, I never knew that.
Really? Even through seminary?
Not until I started my paper, no.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
Well, we didn't really study the history. I mean, we studied a little bit of the history of the prayers, but
yeah.
I thought it was a totally new, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was something different.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm one of those, I just happened to go to a parish that had the Latin Mass. So I went to it and I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. So I bought one of those missals, the 1962 one, and yeah, I love it. And the chant, because I like it on several levels. But one is that that's where we can have the music of the church in the context that it was written for. Usually I see them in concerts, or I'm performing them in concerts, but that's where you can hear Gregorian chant, where you can hear Palestrina where it's supposed to be.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, my friend is a FSSP pastor in South Bend, Indiana. I stayed with him after I came off sabbatical. I stayed a night with him, and I got to hear his choir practicing before their mass, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have, for the most part, is just cringe.
Oh, tell me about it. One of these days, I'm going to talk to you, maybe even privately, about why it's bad music. Like, I can analyze.
Oh, I could destroy some of the songs. I won't, because you'll think of it every time you hear the song. But
yeah, but you know what I mean.
But
like,
Odin and I had this discussion in Dallas. I'm not fluent in Latin. I like knowing and being able to pray the words I'm praying when I say the mass. To be able to look down at the host. I don't really make contact with anybody during the Eucharistic prayer. I'm directing my prayers towards the consecrated host.
Yeah.
And I love being able to comprehend what I'm saying and to be able to really focus on the words I'm saying rather than trying to pronounce them and hoping I'm getting it correct.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, Father, you're supposed to, like the people that do say mass in Latin, even if it's the Novus Ordo in Latin, that you are expected to train and all that stuff. It's not just that you're supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. You do have to train.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, so if you're not comfortable with it, you shouldn't.
Right.
Do it.
But the problem was, and I hopefully shouldn't say the problem, the breviary up until Vatican II was in Latin as well. So when you're praying the Liturgy of the Hours, you're praying it in Latin, not necessarily comprehending what you're saying.
Oh, well, I don't know too much about that because I actually know what I'm saying. So, but if it's something you're used to, you know it. You know what I mean, or
but
you know the gist
at the same
of it.
time, too, is the new translation of the Liturgy of the Hours is supposed to be coming out probably in, I would say, 10 years.
Oh, good. In English, I'm assuming. Thank goodness.
I mean, you look at it, the new liturgy translation for the weddings we've been using for about 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We're into year 2 of the new baptismal translation.
Okay.
So, the answer, Geck, it was the death of Stalin. 2017's death of Stalin.
Okay. Well, that's cool to know. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Put your shoes on, Georgiana.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
That is the voice of Mrs. Trent.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem. You know,
my daughter's running back and forth in the room here, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've always understood, especially with Pope Benedict XVI's motu proprio, is it's if priests want to. Like, priests aren't obligated to say the Latin Mass or even the Novus Ordo in Latin, and that there's not any expectation of the faithful to impose that on a priest if they don't wish to. That you have the ordinary way to say Mass is the way that you do say
I think
it.
part of the problem is, and again, I got to be careful how I say it, is where the thing that bugs me is the critics of Pope Francis will just refer to him as his original name. So it'd be like if we were going around saying Ratzinger or just referring to the Pope as Wojtyła. So, I mean, there are people that are critical of what is happening with the Mass that will just refer to the Pope as Rodligi. It took me probably 15 years to learn how to say Wojtyła. I don't know how to say the Pope's original name. I wanted to say maiden name, but I mean...
Bergoglio?
Well, yes, that. Not Jorge, but his last name.
Oh, and yeah, I don't say it because I'll.
So I mean, it's basically done as an insult in a way.
Yeah, though sometimes I have been guilty of it in trying to explain to people that sometimes the things that the Pope says, it's really the man saying it versus when he's speaking ex cathedra. That is it. But yeah, the Holy Father, just like the president, for example, I mean, that's his title. His title is Francis. So he is Pope Francis, whether you like him or not. And, I think that we all have some personal issues with him. Again, as someone that loves the Latin Mass and is a faithful Catholic, and I want to be faithful to Rome, I'm having a great deal of difficulty understanding why he's coming down so hard on people that love the Mass, that love the church, that are faithful, and he's smacking us upside the head.
But the problem that I've had is I know people that will blast the ordinary form of the Mass, basically saying that unless it's in the extraordinary form, it's inferior. And I think
they ruin it for the lot, but they ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate that, Father. I hate that people do that, Father.
But why is? I mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
It was an attempt to try to bring the SSPX back into the church, and I don't know.
That argument doesn't make any sense because the consecration is still happening, and that's still Christ in the Eucharist.
Yeah,
exactly.
But here's the thing, though: the fact that the Holy Father, Pope Francis, is saying, because you've got a few blowhards out there, we're going to punish everyone else. And first of all, we don't need to be punished. But on the other hand, he's sitting there looking the other way when you've got downright blasphemy, heresy, mortal sin, scandals. And he says, I need to get those jerks that like to go to that Mass and really love Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring up an example here, and I apologize for this. I mean, this is the thing that drives me nuts here. Let me see. I'm just looking for the...
Yeah. Oh, but I know what you're saying, Father.
So this is the Father Michael Flager, who's in Chicago.
Is this in Chicago? I was going to say, this looks like it's Chicago.
Uh-oh, is this something horrible?
Here we go.
Yeah.
And let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
I mean,
give him thanks and praise. Father, it is right for us all.
What is on the ground?
To give you thanks. It is in heaven. We remember those who have gone before us and now sit in your presence.
That's not in the Missal. Those are not the words.
You don't change the words of Mass like that.
Do the red, say the black. That's all you do. You do not change the words.
Now look down on us, God, and have mercy.
Well, I'll be honest, Father, that's one of the reasons I sometimes like to go to the Latin Mass, because you don't get these shenanigans.
Hey, when I was in the seminary in Philadelphia, we had, and we mocked it, but it was fun. I mean, we had what was called Multicultural Sunday, where we were supposed to go. We went to a Vietnamese parish, we went to a Korean parish, and I think we went to an African-American parish. The African-American parish was probably one of the most devout masses I've been to. Mm-hmm. It had the great music, but it was devout. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like this garbage.
I'm totally fine with suppressing that.
Yeah. But on the other hand, oh my gosh, you go to Mass and you sing Gregorian chant and all that, then you're the villain. But they don't do anything about that. And you see, how can I explain this to my family where I'm just like, oh, it's like the Catholic Church seems to, or when I say the establishment right now, seems to really want to come down hard on the people that love the Catholic Church. It's like if I were to sit there and say, even the annoying people, okay, and we all know they're annoying, but they're a tiny percentage of the people out there. That's who they're bringing the full force of the Curia down upon, but they're not doing anything about this. Or Germany.
I mean, and the thing is with Flager, he made news many years ago. He had Louis Farrakhan speak from the pulpit, which...
What?
Yeah. And when he made fun, well, it was inappropriate. He made fun of Hillary during right. I'm not a fan of her, but it's inappropriate for a priest to do that during the Mass.
We're not supposed to be political at all. I mean, let's see if I can find...
I don't think that... Well, I don't know what he said about Hillary, but I don't think that... I think you can... I don't know, maybe you can correct me on this, but I don't think there's anything wrong with maybe making it clear that certain politics are evil, then it's not really political, is it? It's more...
I'll just bring up what
But that's not what he was doing. He was making fun of her. He was like going boo hoo hoo. He was on the side of Barack Obama, and that was during the primary back
Okay,
in
so
2006. Yeah.
this is the
But I know what you
directory
mean.
for the life and ministry of priests.
Here we go.
And this is what I usually mention is yeah, I'm just looking for the right thing. Oh darn, where did it go? Okay, so like Jesus, the priest ought to refrain from actively engaging himself in politics, as it often happens, in order to be a certain point of spiritual fraternity. All the faithful, therefore, must always be able to approach the priest without feeling inhibited for any reason. The priest will remember that it does not fall on the shoulders of the pastors of the church to intervene directly in political activities and in social organizations. This task, in fact, forms the part of the lay vocation, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
The reduction of his ministry to temporal task of a purely social or political nature is foreign to his ministry and does not constitute a triumph, but rather a grave loss to the church's evangelical fruitfulness.
Yeah, I think the key word there is purely.
And here's the big part. Even if these things are good in themselves, they're nevertheless foreign to the clerical state, since they can constitute a grave danger or division in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the thing, if I was to get up and say you cannot vote for this candidate because of this, that, why, I don't know. I mean, it drives me nuts that you could get somebody in a Protestant church up. You could get a Hillary Clinton preaching from the pulpit at a Protestant church. Yet if I was to get like, and I heaven save me, I would never do it, but you get Donald Trump at a Catholic church, you get tax exempt revoked.
Yeah.
Well, not if he's attending a church. Maybe if he even if he was giving a speech like afterwards or something. I mean, we have.
Oh, but they do. I mean, it's Hillary, it's Biden within a Protestant service talking.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have people come after the mass and address the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like they're not political people. They're like usually like missionaries or like a nun who's visiting or something like that, or they're asking for money.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll have that. We'll have the missionary Sunday every year.
Right.
But no, I'm talking like during the political year where you get a political candidate in a church that gets to during the service itself and talk.
Yeah, they definitely look the other way when it's a certain political party in those circumstances. But well, it just what it really boils down to is that people, as the church and you as a priest and everybody, is you need to be focused on the city of God, not the city of man. And whenever man is trying to be brought into the mass, and when I say man, I mean humanity, not the divine, then things go wrong. The mass and all of that is timeless. And you know, the way the music, I was saying a little bit earlier, where the way the music is constructed, like in the old mass and all that, it actually is very mathematical. It goes along even with Trinitarian concepts and the idea of tonic, you know, being domine, you know, do for do, all of that. And the modern music, it not only is it crud, you can tell by just listening to it, but when you try to take it apart theoretically with the theory, it's dissonant, it's off, it's got different rhythms and syncopations and constructions that are not according to sound theory. And so it's like everything is dissonant.
So we had it scheduled, and thankfully, I think the musician, after hearing my lecture about why I absolutely hate the song, changed it. The Supper of the Lord is the song. I absolutely hate that song. Precious body, precious blood, here in bread and wine.
Oh, well, that's heresy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, it is heresy. I've said it.
It is heresy because it's not bread and wine. Precious body, precious blood, here in bread and wine. Yeah. No.
Well, if this explains, explains anything to you, Father, as you know, my family is Protestant, and my parents said, "Oh, during communion the other day, they used that song you use at Mass, and it was one bread, one body." that they were able to
that
use
one.
one bread. They were able to use one bread, one body, even though they don't believe it's the true body and blood of Christ. And that says something about the song.
Okay, I'm putting it in the private chat. I can't
Okay.
say this out loud.
Uh-oh.
I will ruin the song for you.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, there's another one that called...
in the seminary, we used to mock the Ubi Caritas, what we called the lounge version of Ubi Caritas.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got for one, not run. Here I Am, Lord, where it's the part from the Brady Bunch. Da 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 da. So, but yeah, but it's interesting. Like I said, everything is off, and it's on the
heck,
spiritual
we used
level
to-
and on the human level, and I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about all these things that we mentioned. It's discordant, and even with the Lord of the Rings stuff that we're seeing, we know it's wrong. It's
Well, I mean, again, in the seminary, we had fun with mocking bad music. I don't remember what this version of Litany of the Saints are, but it's like, so and so, pray for us, all you angels and saints of God, pray for us. It's just hokey, but we ended up modifying it to be like Pebbles and Bam Bam, Wilma and Fred. So, I mean, we would just throw our own little characters into the litany.
Yeah. The one, Sing a New Church into Being?
Oh, I hate that. That's wrong.
Yeah, that's also, yeah.
So glad I don't ffeel like I have any of these issues with the parish that I attend. So
yeah.
Well, you're in a good diocese.
Yeah.
Well, and it does depend where you are. I mean, obviously, I don't go to these places really anymore. But to make a long story short, that's one reason I do like to go to the Latin Mass. I just don't have to worry about that. And if they really want to do something, well, how about, Holy Father, you start with cleaning up the Novus Ordo parishes. So,
but the thing is, where the liturgy is done correctly, there's no problems.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to say is, though, it's like start putting restrictions on that kind of garbage. Like we're subjected to all sorts of weird stuff.
Oh, is this the guy with the boat, with the wooden boat? The wooden boat?
This is the university. This is the Berkeley Newman Center. This is the Easter Vigil.
Yeah.
Women were terrified. Now their faces to the ground.
Oh my! It's Las Vegas.
Why do you look for the living among the dead?
Here we go.
Is that the priest in the white?
I don't know.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Looks like some actor. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably someone from the dance company.
Looks like there's a priest in the back reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see that's the kind of stuff that they need to crack down on.
How many people were actually there in attendance? I wonder. I would assume.
Well, just remember it's Berkeley.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well,
I'm just a simple priest. I'm not going to solve these problems.
No.
I agree with you. That was I was actually thinking about that. I think obviously the Holy Spirit and Christ and God the Father will bring up someone to reform it. He's done it in the past numerous times. We have so many examples of saints that have come in and reformed the church and brought it back to where it should be. So we just got to keep praying and the Holy Spirit will guide the church. And the church has been around since Christ founded it. It's going to be around probably after we've left this earth and hopefully have been accepted into heaven. And just keep praying and we have to do what we can on our level to help bring souls.
You want a good book of the history of the church, Saints and Sinners by Emmon Duffy. I usually will refer to this when people criticize Pope Francis that they don't think he's a good man. It's like, I'm not going to judge the Pope, but you look at like the death of John the 10th. Pope
John the 10th is the guy who was bringing brothel. He
Murdered.
like turned the wasn't he, there was one who you were told me about who turned like St. Peter's into like a brothel.
Well, there was some of that.
Yeah.
There was one
Sometimes
where
literally and figuratively they did.
there was a pope that was murdered in bed by the husband of the woman he was sleeping with.
Right. Yeah.
Well, of course, we have our friend Alexander the Sixth. I mean, and Satan works harder against popes and priests and all that. Yeah, and I know what you're saying, John. You know, is that yes, you know that we need to trust and sometimes I get convicted that maybe we need to pray a little harder for them. Like my namesake, Saint Therese Lisieux said when she went into Carmel, "I'm here to pray for priests because they need it." You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That we need to be charitable. On the other hand, we can lament though that some of these decisions that I think are definitely imprudent.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. Obviously, I think that there's lots of things that obviously we can discuss those ideas. I'm not saying we can't.
Oh
but
no.
At the same time, like obviously we have to recognize our place too, right? It's not like we have the authority to go in and like change that stuff.
Oh no, yeah, and I understand that. Yeah, I exactly, because we have to do it according to our vocation. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that's what Cardinal Burke rebuked me with when I was chatting with him in Cork. Actually, that's where the field trip we need to do. He said, "Didn't you tell me you were a music teacher?" I said, "Yeah." It's like that's what you're supposed to be doing for the church. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I gotta look up. The Pope is supposed to be visiting where Boniface VI, I think it is, resigned. He's coming up to visit that this month. There's the conclave of bishops or cardinals that's happening in Rome coming up this month. There's a lot happening in Rome at a time when the city is normally shut down. So, I mean, the rumors are that he might step down. He even said something as recently as he needs to slow down.
Yeah.
Well, he had all of those like doctor's appointments and stuff too. I think like this past year, I feel like too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I pray for him every day. He needs more prayers, the better for him.
Well, yeah, and that's the beauty of the Mass is because at every single Mass, you're praying for the bishop, you're praying for the Pope.
Mm-hmm. And when you do the Rosary, for the Holy Father's intentions, yeah, and he's definitely slowing down. He's using his wheelchair a lot more, but he's also kind of old. You know, he might just be a bit old.
And with one lung.
Yeah, old. Yeah, when you consider the fact he's old with one lung, that's pretty good genes there. Good times. Well, Father, I do need to jump off.
No problem.
But yeah, great discussion.
Yeah,
always
I'm
good.
glad you were able to make it.
Yeah, chatting with you and John, and
yeah, it's always good to be on. See you.
Yeah. So pray for me, pray for my family, especially, and I will see you all around.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So I figure I could go a little bit longer. As I was mentioning in the chat, I do have spiritual direction this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
pretty excited about that.
That should be, I bet that sounds like a fun time.
Well, you know, the problem is
that spiritual direction for you, or you are doing it?
Oh no, I'm going to it. I'm having it done for me.
You're receiving it. Okay.
I'm receiving it. I'm not really comfortable in giving it, mostly because of the culture.
What do you mean? Why?
Well,
even to your fellow parishioner, and even to your own parishioners.
I hate to say it just depends on the person, because I'm just trying to think of how to say it charitably. Some parishioners you're kind of afraid to be alone with, just because of the culture that we're in.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
But some parishioners too, and I'm not saying it about my people here, it's just my experience overall. Some people are a little scrupulous. The idea that they think they need to be doing X, Y, and Z all the time when they got to focus on their vocation as a husband or a wife or a mother or a father, where they think that they need to be doing all these spiritual things, but to realize that they can do that by living out their vocation to marriage or
that was I don't know if I still don't understand the seal of the confessional perfectly, but like that was some advice I got the last time I was in the confessional.
Well, no, the seal of the confessional
Similar.
applies to me. So if you
Right,
were to
right.
tell me but it doesn't bound you from telling what you
Okay.
discussed or what the priest tells you in the confessional. You can talk
Okay,
about
right.
that. It's just I can't.
He kind of gave me that similar advice as well too. So I've been trying to do that and really focusing on my vocation as a husband and as a father. And that's kind of what I want to try and make as my like top priority too, is like be that father, be that husband.
Mm-hmm.
But I have these, like, God has given me the responsibility of these children, and my responsibility is to raise them to follow and worship him. And I'm really trying to, that's like kind of the goals that I really want to set for myself as a father.
Right. How's the new one doing?
He's doing well. He's eating his bottle right now. Not yet. September.
Okay.
He's not baptized yet. And the reason why we're delaying so long is because the godparents are from Texas and they went on vacation to Alaska. So it's just getting them here. So he'll be baptized in September, and then we have to work with the parish on when his surgery is coming, and then he'll probably be confirmed before that too.
Snorted Poopus, if that's what takes you to get in the confessional, then yes, we do have seals in the confessional.
But
that is a lie, so therefore I'll have to go to confession myself.
But I have to we'll have to work with our parish here and figure out how to do the confirmation when it's time for the surgery as well. But things are progressing with him.
Surgery? Oh, surgery?
Yeah. He has a heart defect. He has a heart defect, trichology of Fallot, and he will need surgery. In probably the next like 4 to 6 months.
Well, keep me updated because I can offer a mass for him.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated.
One of the beauties, so with going back to teaching, we do 3 days a week where it's classroom. Tuesday is my day off, and then usually Thursday or Friday, depending what's going on that week, is either a class mass, or if it's First Friday, we do adoration for the period. Mm-hmm. So with that, I get opportunities to be able to say mass for my own intentions.
I appreciate that so much.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So getting back to like the spiritual direction, I kind of lost my spiritual director because they moved him. Our parochial vicar got moved to another parish, and this priest was like pretty much there for me coming back into the church. He was teaching the class that my wife was going to for RCIA to have her conversion. He was doing our pre-Cana for us to be convalidated in the church. And then I was also going to monthly meditations with him that he was leading at our church every third Thursday. And then we also I was doing this other, we had like a kind of like a, what do you call it? It was like they called it Evangelical Catholic. I guess it's like a group out in kind of your area, I think, out there in the Midwest. I guess I don't even know why they called it. I don't even like that term, the Midwest. You guys are like in the plains. You're in the plains, right?
Nebraska. I'm in the plains, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they're kind of out there, I think. And so I was like meeting with him like with a bunch of other men on a weekly basis too. And
is it That Man Is You group?
It's what is it called?
That Man Is You?
No, it was called Evangelical Catholic is the organization.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm kind of like missing out on that. And we have like a new parochial vicar, and he's obviously very different. I like him, but he's obviously just a very different person. He's older, and the other priest he's kind of like just a year older than me. So we had like similar life experiences. We actually had we're at Virginia Tech at the same time before he, well, I didn't know him then, but he was there. and then he didn't stay very long because he was obviously his vocation and discerning that, and quickly left and went on his path to become a priest. So just yeah, so that's just kind of lost that, and it kind of is. I mean, obviously, I have his phone number and everything. I call him and everything like that, but still, it's like I would see him after church. I would talk to him after every Sunday mass when he was there. So yeah, just
I'm hopefully. I'm not saying that it's one of those that I shy from doing direction. It's just I've never really been asked to do direction before.
I mean, I didn't like.
I'll be honest.
It just happened because we were getting all the spiritual direction through everything else, right? Through RCIA, through the pre-Cana and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, and then we would go and have some. I would have like meet with him through the evangelical Catholic thing when you like talk about like how things are going with my life and provide that spiritual direction. And I mean, I know like I would. For the like, because I would the Thursday meditations. That's when I would do my confession. So he was like my confessor too. So yeah, so it wasn't like it wasn't like I didn't like approach him for that. It just happened. That just he was giving me spiritual direction just through my regular interactions within the parish. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no.
I really appreciated it. I mean, it's somewhat grown so much. He's the one who's given me the books on like San Jose Maria Escriva, the Forge and the Way that I've been reading on and off. So yeah, it's just
well, you got a really nice Opus Dei bookstore not too far from you.
I think so. Yeah, they're in DC. I don't know.
Yeah, in DC. I didn't know.
I go to the Pauline bookstore. We have a Pauline bookstore in Old Town, so we'll go there, run by the
daughters.
The daughters, yeah. So that's and they like to see Georgiana and everything. And I we haven't been since Jack, but we'll have to take him because they like us, so and they like to see us. And they sometimes come to our parish. They do like a rotation, so we sometimes see them depending on which mass they decide to go to. But that's where we usually go. There, I don't like going into the city. I
don't blame you.
It's too much work, too much effort, and there's nothing really there for me to go. Like, because I gave up my Caps ticket, so I don't even go see the Caps play there anymore. If I go anywhere, I'm going south. I'm going south. I'm going away from the city.
Well, as I think I told you, I'm hoping to come out there this winter for the March.
Yeah,
it sounds like there might be at least one more this year, or one more before. I don't know. I think they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with it.
Well, I know they're going to have. I mean, I know we have one a Virginia March that's kind of like right around the same time. So usually, like the national one, kind of overshadows that. But if they still have the one more national one, probably I definitely will go. And then if we're still here in Virginia and in the future, we'll probably go to the Virginia one moving forward. I think that's like super important. And again, that's like kind of back to where we were talking about a little bit a while ago, where like it's a moral issue, but it's become like a political issue now, right? And a lot of that, like I think that's like we were reading that stuff, and that's kind of the things I was thinking about in the back of my head. It's like, well, Catechism also says like the government should be doing this stuff, which like kind of
implies, that's the like, principle of subsidiarity, like,
right?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
No, that's the Catholic social teaching of subsidiarity. That could be done at the lower level. So instead of like the government doing everything for us, what can be done at the local level should be done first, and then work its way up.
Exactly. So, and I think that's like important too. That we like that. Maybe you're not like obviously advocating for a specific like policy or whatever, but there's clearly moral issues underpinning a lot of our political issues now, and that's something I see I just see it all the time now. I think that's like the huge issue with a lot of our issues now. It's just the moral issues, and there's no courage or strength to stand up to them in general. Obviously,
well, I mean,
exceptions clearly, but. And I think the public's courage to stand up to this stuff is growing. as well.
Well, I saw that Indiana has now banned abortions in the state, I think.
Nice. I saw
And you
Kansas
see
failed though their
the
referendum.
what did?
Kansas failed in their referendum. Yeah.
Yeah, that's surprising actually. But what you'll usually see is the sign, everybody's holding up the sign saying separation of church and state. But I remember 10 years ago under Obama where they were trying to force Catholic groups to provide contraception and abortion coverage.
Hospitals. Yep.
So it's like
through Obamacare. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like separate church and state when it goes against something they want, but not when we want it.
Well, that whole concept of separation of church and state has like radically changed from the founding documents. I mean, if you look at our founding documents, it's God is like front and center. So like the idea that you're separating church and state doesn't really make any sense when the whole founding of our country was on the premise that God created us, the truth that God created us, not the premise.
See, and that's the thing too. I also went into in my church history classes, because in our diocese it was supposed to be a semester of church history and a semester of sacraments for sophomores. I ended up doing 3/4 history, 1/4 sacraments, and I focused on American church history because a lot of people don't realize that prior to the Revolution, Virginia greatly persecuted Maryland.
Yeah.
And when Virginia
Eventually
conquered Maryland in the
laws,
1700s, they passed a law saying that if a Protestant dies and the wife becomes Catholic, it's the duty of the governor to take the kids out and bring them up in a Protestant household.
Yeah.
Or like in Massachusetts, where if there was a priest in the colonies, he could be put to death.
Yeah, I'm reading. Well, I have a book here. I haven't read it in a little bit, but I've got it is called The Puritan's Empire. It's by Charles Calhoun, A Catholic Perspective on American History.
Who's the publisher?
Tumblr House.
I've not heard of them.
They're Catholic. I think they publish a bunch of Catholic books.
Okay.
They publish a bunch of Charles's books. I know that, and it's really interesting learning about the church history through there, because obviously the Spanish were Catholics and were spreading the Catholic faith. We're here before the English in Florida and everything, and then up through California, New Mexico, Arizona, and everything like that, up through Mexico. But he talks about how a lot of the Revolutionary war propaganda, especially from kind of like Massachusetts, was anti-Catholic, and a lot of that was against George III, because he was actually kind of trying to. They saw him as like being sympathetic towards the Catholics, and that's how they used that propaganda against him to gin up for the revolution, which is interesting. And then it goes back to like the Jacobite revolution, everything like that. It kind of goes back into that, and obviously you can keep going back and back and back to see stuff, but he points to that a lot as that. And then he's also like reconciling with the Native Americans that were, I think, Catholic up there in New York, had been converted by the French.
So this here is a cartoon I used to show the kids from 1928, because Al Smith was the first Catholic to be nominated for president. And this is during the time of Prohibition. Yeah. So this was, the title of it is A Cabinet Meeting If Al's Elected. So you got
all the bishops, priests.
And then you see Al over here. Let's see if I can zoom in on him. Dressed as a waiter, carrying a jug of booze with nullifications. So you elect the Catholic president, you got Prohibition being repealed and the Pope running America.
Well, that sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, yeah, but then there was the other one too. Let me see if I can bring it up. Let me see. Oh, where the heck? Oh, okay, there it is.
So this was what, like 1920s?
1928.
1928. Okay.
Yeah, he lost to Herbert Hoover in a big landslide. So it probably was a good thing, because who knows what they'd be blaming on him if he won.
Oh yeah.
There it is. So this is the other one.
The Cardinals. Or is that the Pope?
Oh, I got too many windows open right now. It's hard to see. Okay, so let's bring that up. Is that okay? There it is. Sorry, I didn't know I still had that open. So that is basically Al Smith kneeling before the papal nuncio, the Vatican's ambassador.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, what's interesting though is that I feel like the dynamic has like drastically changed now. A lot of the people leading the culture war are Catholics.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, just look at all the like what's his name, the Daily Wire guy, Matt. But I can't remember his last name.
Oh yeah, Ward or
I can't remember his name. I'm blanking right now.
Here, I don't know. I'll bring this one up. I don't know if you've ever seen this one before. This one is from the 1800s. Did you ever see this cartoon?
No, I hadn't seen this one.
Okay. So what do you see coming out?
Those are cardinals that look like alligators.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow.
Jeez. Yep. So that was the thing where they were going against Catholic schools.
Yeah, that's not surprising there. But yeah, Matt Walsh is in Deck 18. I couldn't remember.
I still have to stream with Spencer one of these days. I've not had a chance to do that yet.
Yeah, Spencer's great to have on stream. But yeah, like Matt Walsh is probably pretty prominent in the culture war areas, and I feel like there's a couple others. Emily Zanotti used to work for Daily Wire. She's over at Fox News now, running their web. She's like one of their top web editors. So there's a bunch of us.
What was the name again?
Emily Zanotti.
Yeah, she's following me. I follow her on Twitter, and she's following me too.
I think she's out of Chicago, or she used to live in Chicago. But yeah, she used to be with Daily Wire. She's moved on to Fox News.com. There.
If that wasn't propaganda, it'd be a fun monster. Yeah, it would be. So, but I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to run it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I still got the homily to get done, the petitions, and then direction. I got confessions at 4, mass at 6:30, then confessions after that.
So you got a busy day. I'd definitely be praying for you.
Oh, thank you. So what do you got coming up?
So we got our Black Hill stream Wednesdays 9 Eastern. We've shortened it to 2 hours now. I actually like that a lot better. We only go till 11 p.m. now.
I could actually stay up for it.
Yeah. So we don't go full 3 hours anymore. I'm gonna see who we're gonna get. We had George the Giant Slayer on last week.
Oh, did he actually make it?
Yeah, he did. It was great.
Okay.
Get him on again soon because he was awesome. I want to see if I can get Odin on. I got to reach out to him and see, but I know he's like his nights are weird because I know he's in a similar boat as I am with a kid.
Well, and also he has to turn in early too.
Right for a school day, right? So we'll see we'll see. We were just on Adam Kriegler's show on Thursday. That was a lot of fun. Spencer and I were. I've been doing a lot of for Bounding to Sports now, where you started a new sports website. Been running that, doing a lot of writing for that. I did finally start doing some videos for Bounding to Comics again, and they're not like opinion pieces with me on camera, but they're just kind of like short, quick, less than 2-minute videos giving you.
I think I saw that the other day.
Yeah, so trying to do that. That allows me to not have to like record something with like all the craziness that's happening in my household right now. So
as video editing would be hard, I would think.
It's not that
graphics and that stuff.
No, you can't. There's a website called Canva.com which like lets you kind of do all of that, and you just kind of move the boxes where you want and put your text in and put your images in, and it's all pretty kind of automated. So.
Man of War coming in as we're getting ready to end. I am beyond late. So
yeah, that's what we got. That's what I got going on. As far as like work related stuff. Obviously you talk about the baptism in September, and then we were thinking of going down to Florida to visit family, but I think we're gonna pass on that. That's the only time where I have issues with like going when I travel. Like there's a really good parish down in North Carolina where my sister lives, which we like, but in Florida, I was not happy with Florida because they were they did Holy Communion like during COVID. They did Holy Communion like after like the ceremony, after the mass was ended, which I didn't like that at all. I didn't understand that. And then they were like refusing they're refusing to let you receive by the tongue, which I just found absurd because the only
thing I would say
is because there's a dispensation for that.
Right. The only thing I would say, and I did ask my people to at least do that during the reopening, just because again, a lot of the unknowns. And as I told people,
right.
It feels like I'm playing Operation, where if I touch teeth, lip, or tongue, you hit the little metal bar and you lose.
Right.
The problem is not everybody is good at receiving on the tongue. You'll have a fighter.
I definitely get that, but I also
now I don't care.
Why,
now I don't really care.
Right. And I understand why at the time because of like the media narrative and everything surrounding it. But like, I don't know, like looking back, hindsight 2020. I mean, even like you were talking about how our diocese is really good. Our diocese like shut down and we weren't like allowed to go to, like, I remember Easter, like we watched from our house here on the TV, and then we did a drive-by blessing. Like we were able to like drive through the church parking lot and get a blessing, and it was just
not the same.
It's not the same because you're not like. The point of the mass is that the communal prayer, like that is one of the main, like obviously it's not like the main point of mass, but that is a huge part of the mass, is that we're praying as a community. We're in the sacrifice of the mass as a community. And so, sorry, Georgiana,
the Eucharist,
right.
That's the reason we do it. I mean, I've been to a Protestant wedding before thinking that's it.
Right.
Because it was like a 15-minute thing. It's like, is that all? I thought there'd be more.
Right. So I'm familiar with both, right? Because we didn't we had the convalidations.
Right. Right.
But yes. But so I mean, I don't know. At this point, like, and they don't like, it's weird. The church we went to, it like looks like it had a lot of money. The parking lot is like bigger than a football field. But they don't have any, like, they didn't have kneelers. They're people, like, it was just weird. Like the floor is like a concrete slab. And I don't.
That's in Florida?
Yeah, that was in Florida. That's like that's like south of Orlando. In like.
Thing I would maybe ask, I don't know. Again, just considering the fact that it's close to the ocean, maybe the salt affecting the parking lot, it might be something where. I'm just trying to think.
I don't know. It's weird. So that's like the only experience I have when I like travel with masses. So and like obviously I've gone to a couple down there. Like what's crazy was like we was like, all right, we went to the one which was like a very like the building was very traditional and everything, but they did the communion afterwards. I was like, all right, we're not going to go to that one. Again, we'll go to this other one, and it's the same priest at the other one. So I don't know if he was filling in or what, but I was just like, oh,
I will say when I was in the seminary, I was back in Iowa. I went to mass at a town where our family reunion was. It was so bad. I just kept telling myself I could get up, I could go back to my diocese and go to the Sunday night mass. I mean, it was just like I could go to this other mass and. You know, it's just when the liturgy is bad, you just think you're here for the Eucharist.
Right. And I mean, I'm so fortunate that I go to the parish that I go to and I'm in the diocese that I'm in. And because we have like a great pastor. And then he also brings in, there's this visiting, he teaches at seminary on giving homilies. And his name is Father Jerome Magat. And I think he's out in Texas is where he's at, but he comes and visits a lot because he was doing a huge paper, and so he's from our area. He's from Diocese of Arlington, but so he would come in and he comes in and preaches a lot and does mass a lot. And one of the times that there was like one specific homily that he gave that it was about like it doesn't like he was talking. That's what he's talking about. Like, yeah, you might have an issue with like a priest's homily or the way like he like the way like things are structured, the music or whatever. But it's not about that. Like it's about the sacrifice of the mass. It's about the Eucharist. It doesn't matter if all that like obviously that stuff does matter, but at the end of the day, what really matters is that bread and wine are transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ, and you're receiving that sacrament. You're receiving those graces.
If you believe in the Eucharist, you can never leave the church.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You see, and that's the thing that drove me nuts is he was a friend in the seminary. He was 4 years behind me. He has since left the priesthood. He got married and became an Episcopalian priest and talked about how great it was and everything. And, on Facebook, I just put the sad emotion reaction to it just because it's like, how do you go through the seminary and then determine it doesn't really make a difference what denomination you belong to?
Yeah.
I mean, he ended up blocking me on Facebook after that.
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep over it, but it's like, crying out loud. I mean, anyway.
Gotta pray. That's the person to pray for, right?
So, with that, I do got to get running.
All right.
So,
yeah. Great. Glad I was able to join you.
Yeah. So I'm just going to hit the end button. We'll catch up a little bit afterwards. So again, thank you everybody for watching. We'll do it again next month. Until